Okay, so I've got to mention this because I've got a little bit of bad timing on this video here, because today is the release of the EMAX TinyHawk S. It is the second generation of this product. We've got 2-cell battery support, better camera setup, better frame, it's lighter, better prop design. It addresses a lot of the problems that you're going to see me complain about in this review of the TinyHawk version 1. I'm going to leave this review up because it is what it is, and I still think it's relevant for anyone maybe considering the TinyHawk 1 on a discount, but otherwise, you definitely want to look more towards this TinyHawk S version. It looks to be a lot better, but here's my review of the TinyHawk version 1. Let's just go on with the review. At some point, I will try to pick up a TinyHawk S so I can do a review of that one as well. Alright, thanks guys. I just got this in. This is the EMAX TinyHawk, and this is a 1-cell brushless micro quad. Look at it, it just fits in the palm of my hand. Look at those tiny little brushless motors. They are 19,000 kV brushless motors with tri-blade props, all running off of a 1-cell 3.7 volt 450 milliampere hour battery. If you've never flown a brushless micro quad before, you will be blown away by how awesome this thing flies. That being said, as fun as this thing is, it is not perfect. So let's start with the bad and then we'll get to the good. Well, the very first thing that you're going to see, and that you might have already seen, is that my camera is loaded up with hot glue. So I took this thing out, and it didn't take too many flights for me to snap that camera right out of its holder. The camera is held in place with just some tabs on the bottom and the top, and the camera will pop out very easily. Not only that, the lens is just secured with a small little bit of glue. They actually make what they call a tiny hat. Race Day Quad sells it. They call it the TinyHawk Tiny Hat, which is a little 3D print filler that you could buy to put in here to keep your camera lens secure and to keep the camera from popping out. I feel like just the fact that something like that exists and the fact that so many people pop this camera out tells me that that's a design flaw, like right out of the box. That should not happen, and I hope that maybe in the TinyHawk version 2, EMAX takes note of that and fixes it. For a really cheap fix though, immediately when you get this thing, just fill this with hot glue. I mean, that's pretty much all you have to do. I should have done it when I got it, and I didn't. The second issue to watch out for with this thing are these props. Now, on my first flight out, I crashed and I threw a prop. I really don't like this snap-on design. I know that a lot of 1S are like that, but yeah, you really need to watch out for the lost props. So I almost wasn't going to be able to review this as quickly as I wanted because I lost a prop. Yeah, so if you get this, buy yourself a set of spare props, because the basic version that I got that comes here, you do get this nice little EMAX TinyHawk case, and it comes with a little USB multi-charger, so you have something to charge multiple batteries, but you don't get spare propellers, and I kind of find that funny when that's going to be something that can literally put a stop to your entire flying day, having no propellers. The video transmitter has been partially responsible for my crashes. Definitely one of the ones that took this camera out. I was getting a little too comfortable flying this thing, and my video just started warping around. The video transmitter in this thing is just not that great. I've gotten more breakup on this thing than most other models on average. So yeah, and out here where I fly, there isn't a whole lot of interference. There aren't other Wi-Fi or anything out here. This is basically the sticks, more or less. So definitely the video transmitter on here is not what I was hoping it would be. So we've gone over the bad. Let's talk about the good. I love how this thing flies. I said it already at the beginning of the thing, but I love how this thing flies. The moment I took it out of the box, I was ripping around, circling, doing power loops, doing flips, and to me it felt great. The stock tune is really, really nice from the factory. However, there is a site out there, a group, that is dedicated to tuning small quads like this. It is called Project MockingBird. You can find it on Facebook. And they've spent the time to really tune this thing out. So I tried, at the time of this video, the Project MockingBird V2 tune for the EMAX TinyHawk. And I've got a link down to that in the description below for you to check out. And wow, I didn't think that putting it on there was going to make that big of a difference in how it flew, but I loved it. I loved how this thing flew once I put their tune or their settings on the TinyHawk. So I would recommend, if you get this, to go ahead and put it on there. Just put it on there right away. Just put it on there right away. Upgrade the Betaflight version on it and then put that tune on there. It flies great. It was designed for the stock tune. You've got better flight in stability mode, and you also get way better acro flight with this thing. So highly recommend the Project MockingBird. Again, links down in the description below to where you can get the settings as well as the Facebook group. Talking more about the flight, having never flown another brushless model aside from the UR65, this one was a little bigger, a little higher KV motors. I was definitely wowed at some of the moves that I was able to pull off, especially with the TinyHawk Project MockingBird settings, aka the Juicy Hawk. I could do some sort of quasi-natty flips. I could do power loops. I could do flips through the trees. I was just zipping around all over the place. Really, really impressed with the flight characteristics of this thing. I would absolutely recommend it if you are looking for a 1S model to fly indoors or outdoors. Despite its problems, it's still a great quad. At this point in time, though, I wouldn't spend full price for it. I would get it if you have a coupon or a sale or something like that. And if I've got something like that, I'll have it in the description below. I think that if you want something with more power, though, you would want to look away from the 1S models because you really want to go 2S. But this is a good all-around flyer. If there's any wind out there, you're not going to be able to fly this thing well, period, and end of story. It really just does not do well in the wind and doesn't have the power to get you out of it. You will get prop wash. And even with the Project MockingBird tune, you know, it can only do so much. I did find that I got some prop wash, some wobbling while trying to perform certain moves. I think a lot of that just comes down to the battery. It comes down to this heavy frame that they've got on here, which protects the props. So yeah, I mean, as a new user, I think it would be very disappointing to take this thing out of the box, and with the camera issue and the props and the crappy video transmitter, I mean, I'm sorry, you should never have to fill a product with hot glue. You should never have to buy a 3D printed tiny hat to fix a very major flaw with the camera. So that's it. That's my review of the EMAX TinyHawk. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Leave them down in the comments below, and I'll try to help you out. I hope this video was informative. If you liked the video, please leave me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, well, you know where that button is. And as always, have a great day, guys. I'm gonna go do some flying.